Everybody's talking to Paul. I hear every word they're saying on my laptop, on my phone. When life seems a constant battle, I tune into Earnest Prattle. It will brighten even your darkest day.
Hello, welcome to Earnest Prattle edition 24. That's XXIV in Roman numerals, and I will explain the significance of that shortly. First, I need to say Happy New Year, because it's the first vlog of 2022 for me. I've been away for a wee while, just upgrading my equipment. I've got new lighting and new camera and new microphone, so everything means to try and make me look even more attractive. I know all you ladies out there shouting, no, Paul, that's not possible, but yes, I thought I'd have a go. So all the same, here we go and see if it makes any difference. I probably still won't get any cards on Valentine's Day, but you never know. Right, on to a bit of housekeeping. Would you please mind subscribing, maybe leave a comment, liking or sharing the video? Any of those things, I'd be really much obliged. And now on to today's vlog. So we're tying in with the Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 56, LVI in Roman numerals. See the link that I did there, which will be the LA Rams versus Cincinnati Bengals, coming from the SoFi Stadium in California on Sunday, February the 13th. Now, to talk about all things American football is, I've got an old friend of mine called Scott Messom. He's a good friend who used to play American football with my good self, who's knowledgeable about the sport and has been involved for, like I say, for quite a long time, and knows quite a lot about not just the professional game, but the amateur game as well. So I think I should stop going on now and get to the main event. So it's time for the show, Roll VT. So, hello, Scott. Nice to see you, brother. It's been a long time. How are you?
Thank you, Paul. I'm fine. Thank you. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah.
So, as is customary, Scott, with my vlogs, I like to introduce my guest and ask him to say a little bit about themselves. So just tell me a little bit about who you are and where you're from, Scott, and you know what you're up to, basically.
I'm Scott Messom. I'm on this vlog because of American football. I spoke to Paul about American football. He used to play back in the day. I'm heavily involved with American football in Nottingham, and I have been for many, many years as a player. I'm now coaching at Nottingham Trent University. That's where I coach. I'm coaching with the university guys. Spare time, I like football, soccer as well. My lad's a very keen footballer, so I'm involved in the coaching of that as well. So I do like to keep myself busy. Big passion is sport. I love any sport really, but say sports coaching is really my thing. Actually, I really enjoy it. So
very sporting man you are, Scott, and nice to see you keeping yourself fit after all.
Well, yeah, well, that's it. Not as fit as I was back in the day, Paul, but we've moved to the coaching side of things.
Well, none of us are. We've all got bits dropping off these days, but I've got less bits than you've got, I think, these days. So I'm just thankful I'm still going. But anyway, Scott, I thought it'd be really apposite to tie in with yourself about American football, because on Sunday, February the 13th, we've got Super Bowl 56, which is coming from, I think it's the SoFi Stadium, California.
Yeah, Los Angeles, California.
The home of the LA Rams, and the LA Rams will be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals, yeah, from the first time in a long time. So yeah, it'd be good for us.
So, what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl? I know you haven't had a lot of time to digest it yet.
I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan through and through. Always have been since back in the 80s when I started watching. They were the team. So I got knocked out on Sunday. My team got knocked out on Sunday to the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm a bit bitter at the minute still, and still trying to get over that one. To be honest, I'd like the Bengals to do it because the Bengals are a bit of a they're the underdog. I think they're going to go as the underdog, and I think it'd be nice for those to go and do it. Say a new name on the Super Bowl trophy. They've had some tough times, the Bengals, in the past, and they've got a young quarterback who's very good. He's got a young receiver with him, so they're a young and up and coming team, young coaching staff. I think it'd be really nice for them. I said the LA Rams have kind of put a lot of money in, and they're boom or bust this year. They really want to win the Super Bowl, so they've actually gone for it to win it. But the Bengals are the underdog and coming through, so I like to root for the underdog.
I mean, me personally, I'm a New England Patriots fan, so I'm a neutral, to be fair.
Yeah, that's it, and I'm looking forward to enjoying the Super Bowl today. I mean, I know I said I was bitter about the 49ers not getting there, but at least now I can actually enjoy the game, and I'm not really overly fussed who wins. You know what I mean? I don't care either way, but
exactly.
I'll definitely be watching. I'll definitely be enjoying it, and it's a late one as they always are. But myself and you, we're used to it in American sports. We're used to staying up too early.
That's right. We always have the late nights with the Super Bowl, and then the sore heads the next morning after a few beers.
As it's February the 13th, it's Valentine's the next day, isn't it? So I've nicely booked that one off for the wife.
Well, you see, you've got a wife there, Scott, have you?
Yeah, I'm married. Yeah, I've got married to 2 kids. Yes, I've been married to a wife.
Kids. You see, I'm all right in that respect. I'm painfully single.
Boy and girl.
I won't be getting the Valentine's cards unless it's the one I sent myself last year.
Yeah, that's it.
But if there's any ladies watching who fancy surprising me on Valentine's Day, it's Burton Street, Bulwell. So I'll tell you the actual door number by private message.
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
it.
getting unnecessary stalkers in the interim. But worth a go, Scott, worth a go. And also, the Super Bowl, Scott, it's obviously the most watched sporting event in the world, more or less, TV audience. And they usually have a cracking halftime show to boot.
Wow, have you seen this year's lineup? It's very impressive.
What is it? Dr. Dre,
Snoop Dogg, Eminem,
yeah.
Mary J. Blige,
yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, I think.
There you go. Look, see, I can't get anything past you, Scott. Even though
I know the stuff, mate.
Show lineup.
Definitely, Super Bowl is what I live and breathe. I always have done. You know me. I've been playing. Well, started playing when I started playing. Wow, late 80s, late 80s, mid 80s.
Let's talk about your playing career, Scott. Let's go back and review that. I mean, me personally, I've had a little stint, not as much as an involvement as you've had. I played for 2 seasons in the 1980s for the old South Notts Crusaders.
Yeah.
Out at Sandacre on the old Laceweb Sports Ground there.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And then I had obviously a couple of seasons in the 1990s with the Nottingham Caesars.
Yeah.
Alongside your good self there, Scott. But tell me where it all started for you, the playing days.
Well, I started quite young, really. I was at a school that was into football, English football. Yeah. And I'd say I love my sport, but I was never really the greatest footballer. So I never got around the school team because they were good football players. So I thought I want to do something. I want to be involved in a team sport. It's always something I wanted to do. So I found an American football side. Me and a friend found an American football side, and I started in Arnold on Arnold Hill School on the concrete. We were just playing like 2-touch on there, okay. And then we were really enjoying that. And then we found the Nottingham Hoods. Obviously the Hoods were big in the mid 80s. Early 90s, and they're the youth team. So we went down there and played for the Hoods youth.
I used to go and watch the senior team down to Albion Stadium.
Yeah, that's it. So I was part of the Hoods youth. So we trained like alongside them almost as youth players.
Yeah.
Started 2-touch, and then we worked up to. I went into kit as I got old enough to get into kit. When the Hoods were playing, we'd be down there. We were all down there, and you were probably down there watching as we were, and getting on at half time and doing a bit on the field, and it just progressed from there. And the Hoods unfortunately folded early 90s. I think it was 92, I think maybe. And then the Nottingham Caesars, who I was then. We broke away a little bit, so it was the Hoods youth became the Little Caesars basically. So we were a youth team. So I played for the Caesars youth team. We then progressed into an adult team. So my first year of senior football, when I became 19, the Caesars then became an adult team because the Hoods had then folded. So the Caesars became an adult team, and that was my first year. And then when we had to, because there's the Nottingham Hoods were based in Nottingham, but they'd only just folded, we had to move away. So I played 2 years in Newark for the Nottingham Caesars. After the 2 years were up, we moved back to Nottingham and played out of Nottingham. But say I played from the early 90s all the way through, till I had kids really. So yeah, just finished. I was involved.
What was your main position then, Scott, as a player?
I was a running back. So started at junior level as a wide receiver because I was a little skinny guy as a kid. Played wide receiver for a bit as a junior. Played a little bit of defense as a junior, but then when I got into senior football, I turned my hand to running back. So yeah, I was the running back, the guy that gets given the ball by the quarterback and taking all the big hits with you big D linemen like coming at me and the linebackers. But
Number 32, Scott, if I remember rightly.
I was number 32, yes, definitely. Yeah, I played number 32 for all my senior career. Yeah, and so enjoyed it.
I was with the old big boys on the trenches, offensive line. 60,
you were, that's it.
67 or 69, that was me.
Definitely, Paul. And so without you big guys in the trenches, the running backs wouldn't do anything. So I mean, that I'd say we'll probably touch on it. That's the thing I loved about American football. It was such an inclusive game. There was a position for everybody on the team, and when we all played, and you become like a big family. And it's great. It's great for that. It's not like one superstar. Because say the superstar quarterbacks, say we see today, Tom Brady, the best obviously as a Patriots fan. Tom Brady's retired today.
Right. Yeah.
Say greatest of all time. Say me as a 49ers fan, I still think now Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. It was Joe Montana for me, but I think Brady's surpassed him now. He's retired, but without his offensive line in the trenches that don't get any glory, is nothing. He can't do that. And say that's the beauty of it. Say everyone is a team and everyone's a family and everyone works for each other. So there are superstars, but they respect everyone else around them in what they're doing. So that's
well point to that, Mr. Messom. You got up with my estimation, brother.
Hey, Paul, I always respected you, mate. You know,
look after the linemen. That's right, and they'll look after you.
Definitely so.
So in your playing career, Scott, have you got any personal sort of trophies, awards, or any championships you won?
Trophies and awards. Obviously, I won a few within the team. I won a few MVPs for games and stuff and whatever like that. And players is always a nice one to win because you've got the respect of the players. Say coaches player is a nice one to win, but players player, you've got the respect of your people around you. So I've won that for a couple of times. And that's always nice to win as a player. Trophies wise, championships, I went to 2 finals and unfortunately lost both of them. But we attended 2 finals. We had a good team at times, and when we were around. But say I was unfortunately I didn't actually win a trophy, but as a player, bit of a sad time, but it is what it is. Say I've got no regrets.
The championship game in that league was a tough thing to do, Scott. To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's for those that don't know, it was the National League, and I think Nottingham did get to the final of was it the Division 1 final?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So
we lost to. We lost to Redbridge. Yeah, Redbridge the first time. That was the first final I lost. We lost to Redbridge. We got there. We did well. We had a few injuries coming into the game. If you remember rightly, we lost a starting quarterback just before the game.
Yeah.
So we had a change of quarterback and a few injuries here and there. Not making excuses, but say we lost against Redbridge in quite a tight game. And then as the years went on, we got to the final again and we played Bristol and we lost to Bristol Aztecs. I want to say I take kind of a bit of a blame. That was the day after my wedding. We played Bristol in the final. So I got married on the Saturday and all the boys came to the wedding. They were all well behaved and not drinking. And then we travelled to Sheffield on the Sunday and played the final. So I had to delay the honeymoon, Barbados, the day after. So very understandable wife. So that's why I think that's why I'm still involved so much, because she is so understanding. I say it's good to have someone around that does understand my passion and what I do. So someone that can say, we're getting married on the Saturday, you're playing in the final Sunday, then we're on honeymoon, then I can't do anything better than that, can I?
So on the playing side, Scott, Who's the probably the best player you've played alongside, you believe, in your career?
Wow, played with some really good players. So, I mean, I have been Nottingham through and through. I've never been one to leave teams. I was fully committed to Nottingham, so I've only played for one team. Apart from you talk about accolades and things that I'm proud of. I did represent England, so that was a very good thing to be proud of. I played in a Three Nations tournament for England.
Excellent.
Played Scotland and Wales, so that was a very proud moment. So it's not a trophy, but to be called up and play for your country in any sport is amazing. So I'm very thankful of that. So Nottingham through and through, played for one team. Players wise, we've got a good friend that you know, a guy called Gary Stainton, was quarterback. And say for me, Stan was unbelievable. He was such a character. I mean, he was the quarterback, but he was a running back. He was a linebacker. He'd play anywhere, and he was absolutely hard as nails. But true leader as well. A leader of men, and everyone followed him, and what he said went almost. And you put your body on your line for him. So for that kind of good players, he was great. I say he could throw a ball, and he was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, if you don't ask me, Scott, I'd have said the same person. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Who'd stand the man? You can't beat him, can you?
No, you can't be. I mean, back in the day when we were playing, we say now I'm an offensive coordinator in the coaching, which we'll get to in a little while. So I call the plays for my players. But back in the day we were playing, Stan the man was calling the plays on the field. So he was the leader on the field. We were not making up as we go along, but he would read the defense and he would decide what we were doing while we were out there. So yeah, great player.
He was an all-rounder, bless him, wasn't he? He was everywhere.
He was. Yeah, he could turn his hand at anything. So he was quarterback, but say running back, linebacker, he'd flip to defense. He was powerful, he was aggressive, and say he was great. Running backs wise, people I look up to and I played with, I had the pleasure of playing with Albert Thompson. So obviously when you were playing, when you were watching the Hoods, Albert Thompson, great running back. Again, really good character. Learned a lot from Albert. Albert really took me under his wing as a young running back and taught me how to play and what we needed to do.
Head spin Albert.
Yeah, that's it. He liked his breakdancing and still does. He involved with breakdancing now. So yeah, he had the pleasure of doing a head spin.
He used to do the head spin in the end zone after he scored.
Yeah, that's it. After he scored, everyone was like, Albert gives a spin when there he was on his head spinning away. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm still great friends with both of those. I mean, they're both really good friends of mine. Still speak a lot. Albert's actually living in Germany now, but we still speak and we still talk a lot. And say Stan, I am very close with. So yeah, they're probably the two best players on offense I've played with. Defensive wise, played with on same team and against. Bernie Hackshaw was probably one of the hardest hitting people I've
another hard hitter.
Yeah, absolute beast of a man. But again, true gentleman. Would teach you anything, have time for everything, still involved in coaching.
I think the hardest I've ever been hit in American football was actually Bernie Hackshaw slap him on the back of the helmet when I made a mistake playing defence. I thought he nearly knocked me out, to be fair. Yeah?
No, that's it. No, because I mean, we were playing at a good standard, Paul, and say there was some good players about, and they were. And we were respected across the country. I mean, there was teams that respected us a lot. We had a lot of good games against Gateshead Senators. We had some good mates.
Oh, I used to love them trips to Gateshead.
Definitely. We were just a hard hitting, no nonsense team, weren't we? We just
absolutely great bunch.
Yeah, that's it.
So these days, Scott, you moved on now, and like you said that you've got a coaching role.
Yeah.
Then who you're involved in now? Is it? I see it's probably what you're wearing there. Is it the NTU?
Yeah, Nottingham Trent University. Yeah, or it's that side, isn't it? Yeah. So Nottingham Trent University Renegades. I was playing and I stopped playing because I had my first child, had Jack, and I was playing when we had Jack, and he was only young. But as a running back, as you know yourself, it's quite physical, and I was getting banged up and beat up. And there was a time that he was only a young baby and he started crying. I'd been out all day playing football away wherever we'd been. My wife said, "Oh, you've been out all day. Do you mind getting up for the baby?" I was like, "Oh, no worries." And I got out of bed and literally fell out of bed, knees collapsed. And I thought, that was the time I thought, do you know what? It's perhaps time for me to retire and step away from playing. Because obviously I needed to be around for the kids and needed to help support and help out for those sort of things. So I stopped playing for a year. I got very stressed and het up without playing because I'd done it for so long, and it was a big loss in my life. And I was trying to find a way of getting back in and doing something. And then a good friend of mine, Adrian Giles, he'd got the head coach's role at Nottingham Trent University.
Okay.
So he spoke to me and he said, "Scott, will you come along, come and work with me and be my offensive coordinator?" And I think I had to think about it for about 5 minutes and said, "Yeah, I'm in." And said, "Go and ask the wife." And the wife was like, "Yeah, get him out of my way, get him gone." So I took the role, say, back in, well, I think I've been doing it 11 years now, 11, 12 years with Nottingham Trent. And yeah, love it. So I'm offensive coordinator. It's great. The students, so it's at a university. So there's a bit of a swinging players. It's not like coaching a senior football team where you know your players and are there. Like, say, I was there for 10 years, you were there for a couple of years. These players come in, they do the 3 years at university.
I take it it's just students that play in school.
As what, sorry?
It's just students that play, basically.
The students that play, yeah. So you have to be a student at the university. So that's why you get this big turnover. But it's good because you get young players coming in that know nothing about the sport. They've seen it on telly. I mean, the NFL has seen it on telly. They want to play, and we're starting to see now with the growth of the NFL, we're starting to see players that have played at junior level. So they've played at juniors and youth, and they're coming in with a bit more experience. So you have experienced players, you've played players that haven't played, players that's played different sports that want to come, but they're all on campus. They're all there, and they all turn up. We train twice a week. We train Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we play on Sundays. But they're there, they attend. We have classroom sessions for them where we go through video, and we talk on whiteboards, and we get them talking and teach them, and then we play on the Sundays. And we train outdoors on the Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. But they're just engaged, and that's what I liked about coaching university football. They're fully engaged, and they want to learn from you, and they've got no other ways. No other distractions. They're just there. I mean, obviously they're there for an education. I always say to them, your main priority is your education, but they're there and they want to play football and they want to do a team sport. And again, university can be a lonely place at times, and it's a nice place for them to have a bunch of friends. And you say the camaraderie you've got in American football, they have then gone from knowing nobody in a new university to having 60, 70, 80 friends straight away, just like that.
And what a fantastic pink kit you got there, Scott.
Yeah, they play in pink. That's it. Yeah, we're playing navy and pink. So yeah, it's represent the university in pink. So yeah, it's all good. So
how's the NTU team got on with their results wise, basically?
All right. Yeah, I mean, we're doing. I'd say COVID hit us last year, as COVID hit everybody. So unfortunately, last year we were completely locked down. We didn't play a game. We thought we might get some games on. Then the season got cancelled. So we worked online with people, and we got a lot of students in. So we started this year really well, to be fair. Like everybody, we're starting with 2 years of rookies now. So the guys that were here last year didn't do anything apart from talk like this on a computer screen and learn that way. And then they're playing this year, but they haven't really. So they're in the second year of university, but never really played. And then we've got obviously this year's first years that have never played. So we've got a lot of new lads in there. But we're doing really well. We're doing really good. We've played 6 at the minute. We've won 4, lost 2. We had a close loss on Sunday. We lost to Warwick on Sunday, which put us 4-2. We've got 2 left to play. We've got Coventry at home on Sunday, this Sunday coming. And then we've got Loughborough away on Superbowl Sunday. So actually on the 30th of February, we're playing Loughborough away, which will be a good game. They're having that as their homecoming game, with all their alumni and old players coming to watch, so it should be a good game.
So you have is it like a varsity game with the Trent University?
Yeah, we play a varsity. Yeah, so again, because of COVID, we didn't even play that. But this year, again, there will be a varsity where we play University of Nottingham. We had the upper hand in varsity. I mean, whether some of the University of Nottingham guys listen to this back and look, they'll say that they're the top now, and they are. University of Nottingham are in the Premiership. They're very good. They've got a bit more money than us. They're bringing American players in. There's a big influx of imports and scholars that they're getting around. We're in Division 1, but it'll be great when we play varsity. It'll be great. We'll go and compete. We'll go and play against Nottingham. There's a great rivalry. Nottingham Trent against University of Nottingham.
Is that not really Harvey Haddon?
We've had it at Harvey Adden before. Yeah, we've done it at Harvey Adden before. We've done it down on Trent Bridge before at the rugby club at Trent Bridge.
Okay.
I'm not sure where it'll be this year because I don't know what the
Usually
plan
a
is.
decent turnout for that one, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, we played in Harvey Adden in front of a full crowd, which is how the Hoods used to be. I mean, the Nottingham Caesars don't get the biggest crowds as we used to back in the 90s when the Hoods were playing, when we were playing because of the sponsorship and stuff. But the varsity game, there is normally a big crowd there, like I say, because the students come and watch, and it's a varsity series across the university, so it's not just American football. It'll be University of Nottingham against Trent in every sport they do, like for a big trophy at the end of it. So we're just a little part of the varsity series. But
Yes, I'm looking forward. Back to the Caesars spot. Are you still involved with the coaching staff for that team as well?
Not currently. Well, I say not currently. I am asked all the time to be involved. I've never really stepped away from it. So last year, I didn't do a lot with them. I'm very close friends with the head coach of the team, Vanden Warner. I played with him from a young kid all the way through juniors, through my seniors. He actually coaches with me at NTU, so he's my running backs coach, but he's also head coach of the Nottingham Caesars. So I do speak with him quite a lot, and we do discuss, but I don't actually do any physical coaching with them at present. I have done. I've been a running backs coach for them. I've been a wide receivers coach for them. And I've also been offensive coordinator for them in the past as well. So I do help out as and when I can. And over the years, I have done. And the Caesars are very close to my heart. They're a team that I love, and I always will.
Me too. Like I said, I only had a few seasons with the Caesars, but I always have a soft spot for the Caesars, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And so I've got a lot of friends. A lot of my friends now are ex-Caesars players, current Caesars players, current Caesars coaches.
When does their season kick off, Scott?
They'll start. I mean, so the Renegade season, so the university season runs till March. So the playoff for the university is running till March, and then the senior league then starts pretty much after that. So I think they start in April. They have just started training again. The Nottingham Caesars just started training again in January. So if anyone's thinking of getting involved, again, Nottingham Caesars, if you want to play as an adult and you're not at university, then they're starting training. We can hook up in the comments with some contact details. And
I was going to say, I'll post some stuff at the end of the video in the titles, maybe, or stick some stuff in the comments.
They've got a youth set up again now, which is great. I started at youth football. Nottingham Caesars have got a good junior setup now that runs from the age of 14 to 19. So they get kids involved at 14. That's kidshood. Again, they've got a good set of coaches down there. They're really trying to build something. And then once you're 19, you go and play for the senior team, and all in there. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to get involved in the sport, say university level, youth level, senior level. I'm always looking for coaches, volunteers that come and help me. And I just want to get people involved in the sport. Because what I've taken from the sport, I want to pass that on to everyone else. You know what I mean? That's why I enjoy it with the students, because I can pass the love of the game on to them, and we can work and really help them.
Absolutely.
Playing's not for everyone. I appreciate that, but there's always a role. Like I say, it's a busy sideline with cameras, taking stats and watching film or helping out and just assisting or coaching. So there's plenty of things people can do.
Absolutely. And we're just linking back into the NFL, Scott.
Yep.
And like so, we start off talking about the Super Bowl, and the NFL's been making strides with popularity in the UK for the last few years, and we've now got this. The NFL London games that happen every year. So is it 3 actual regular season games played in London?
Yeah, it started in 2007. I think was the first year they came over to actually be an actual regular season game. So they brought one game over in 2007, and it was an actual regular season game, and it was remind me, was it Miami Dolphins? Miami Dolphins and New York Giants, I think it was. They came over and played, and say for them, I mean, I don't know how we'd feel as football fans if Forest took a regular season game to go and play in the States. You'd be like, I'm not going over there. But the Americans came over, and I actually went to that game, and I enjoyed it. And I stood talking to fans that had travelled, and say America being as big as it is, they some of them, it was easier for them to get to London than it was to get across to an away game in America. So they just jumped on a plane, come to London, and it's great. So it started there with one in 2007. It progressed to 2 games a couple of years later, Then it went to 3 games, so actually 3 regular season games being held in the UK, which is amazing.
And now there's one at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's got the custom built pitch, hasn't it? It rolls in, rolls out with the actual pitch.
So when Tottenham built the new stadium, the NFL went in with them and part funded it. So it's part funded by the NFL. And the Gridiron is underneath the grass that you see on all the matches there. So the grass rolls out.
Yes.
And then the stadium lowers. I think that the sides lower down. I mean, it's great. I've watched a video of it on YouTube. And then the Gridiron's under there, and then it becomes an NFL stadium. So I think
it's great.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I think that obviously shows the popularity of it in the UK, and they've obviously the NFL have bought into the UK market, and there has been talk, as I'm sure you know, of bringing an actual franchise to the UK.
Well, this one I want to touch on about. I mean, with American football, like I said, all the NFL London games are sellouts.
Yeah,
and we have toyed with the idea of a professional league over before with the World League of American Football.
Yeah, World League was around for a bit, wasn't it?
And I can remember going down to Wembley to watch the London Monarchs against the New York Knights.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, first World Bowl.
Went to a couple of games there, but the thing is, it just didn't quite have the same appeal as the NFL itself.
No.
But that leads me to what I was going to say to you. I don't know if you've heard on the grapevine, but there's a thing now called the UKFL.
Yeah.
Which is rumoured to be starting in 2024.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a homegrown professional American football league. So I'll be interested to see how that develops.
I have heard a lot about it. I'll believe it when I see it. You know, I mean, it's been talked about for a lot of years now.
Yes.
I don't know whether it is just talk. I assume they're putting money in. I assume it will get off the ground eventually. But I think it's just been delayed this year again to 24, hasn't it?
Yes.
Again, probably with COVID, which you can understand. But yeah, I mean, if it does get off the ground, then great. I mean, it's football's football for me. I'll watch and support anything that's there. And if it's getting homegrown talent and moving them and giving them an opportunity, then it's great. But with that, talking of homegrown opportunities, there's more and more English guys now getting the opportunities to go and play in the States, whether it's at college or whether it's in the NFL. I mean, Aidan Durd was a guy that used to play for London, and he's now coaching in the NFL. So he's actually an English guy coaching in the NFL. I think if you watched Hard Knocks, he was on the Dallas Cowboys Hard Knocks program. He's an English guy coaching out there. There's players that are now starting to get out and get chances. There's a guy that played for Carolina, and they're actually playing that are British. University-wise, there's a guy called David Azinian that I worked with. He was a defensive guy, but he worked with us for a year at NTU. He came to do a master's at NTU, and he's now been drafted into the CFL, so he's playing professionally in Canada and out there. So the chances are there. People are starting to look at the UK game and finding these people and getting them playing and getting them going. I mean, there's a NFL Academy. I don't know if you heard about the NFL Academy.
No, not so much, no, Scott.
Yeah, there's an NFL Academy set up now. So it's like a college program where they can go and the kids can go at an early age and play for the NFL Academy and then progress, get an education and train as an American footballer 5 days a week. And then they're then look to being placed in the US colleges. So they'll get scholarships in the US if they're good enough to go out there and do that. I mean, opportunities that weren't around when I was playing, when you were playing, that would have been fantastic. But it's great for the kids now to go, and if you
absolutely
put your mind to it and work hard, sky's the limit. It's not like they won't ever make the NFL. It was like, oh yeah, one day I'll play in the NFL. It was a pipe dream. Now they can. And the chances are coming now that they can actually go and do it. So
yes, it's really exciting, Scott. Sky's the limit.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought, well, this is probably it might be quite a sad subject for some people. I thought it'd be nice to mention a mutual friend of ours who we've recently lost this year.
Yeah, Beef, Stephen Brittle.
Yeah.
Massive friend of mine, mate. Massive friend of mine. What he did for football in Nottingham was crazy. I mean, you might look at me and you like say, I lived and breathed it, and that's what I do. But
he was doing it through and through, wasn't he? Bless him.
Yeah, Beef was doing it long before me. He was like way back when he played for the Hoods, and he was in the 80s, and he played for the Caesars, and he coached the Caesars. and he had no time off. And then when he finished the Caesars coaching, he went to University of Nottingham. He passed away, unfortunately, a couple of months ago. But he was coaching till the day he died. He was away in Stirling, actually on the sideline as an offensive line coach in Stirling, in away. Yeah, and he unfortunately he passed away there. Overnight the next day, you know what I mean? It's a bit raw for me, but he loved it, and to do what he did for football, to pass his knowledge on to students, what he learned, and he was relentless, absolutely relentless. It was amazing. And say, funny you should say it, because today, February the 1st, is actually his birthday, so I'll be raising a glass of Jack Daniels to the great man today. And
me too. And the Earnest Prattle Hall of Fame first entry.
Yeah, definitely get him in.
Number 51 beef.
Number 51 beef, and say you've been with him, you've played with him, and such a nice guy. And say
for a bloke had legs that looked like a piece of string dangling down, I used to tell him he didn't all fit hard like a steam train. I mean, I used to wind up about them bleeding pants he wore. And then when he hit you, it was like knock your head off. So I soon learned that it's not what it looks like. You can't judge a book by the cover.
Exactly, and all his little anecdotes that he had, what you say, it's only holding if you get caught. So
that's it, correct.
We're burning daylight and we've got to play, and he's all them little things. But say they're little things that even I use now as a coach. I find myself like saying things that Beef used to say to us as a coach and a player. And again, so his legacy will live on. And say he touched a lot of people, and he was.
Well, thanks for that, Scott. I thought it's really important we give him an honourable mention there.
No, definitely, yeah, I appreciate that, as I do.
Right, so let's put you on the spot then. So we're nearly wrapping up, Scott. But so what I want to say is Superbowl February 13th.
Yeah.
LA Rams, Cincinnati Bengals. Give me the final score, brother.
Wow.
I'll be writing this down for the bookies here. Here we go.
Write it down. I'm going to go close game.
Go on.
I think the Rams will come out the blocks quick, because they do. I think they might stutter a bit later on. So I'm going to go 23-20 to the Bengals.
23-20 to the Bengals. Right, so nice. I'll tell you what, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Go on then.
And as you go on for the Bengals, I'm going to go for 31-17 to the Rams.
Well, yes, doable. I can just see it happening.
There you go. So
maybe I'm just an underdog lover at heart.
Come Valentine's Day, we've both made ourselves look stupid on their predictions. It'll probably be a tie now. We've both said that.
Yeah, no.
So yes. I'll be waking up to two embarrassments. One is the result incorrect. Secondly, is no Valentine's Day card. Hey,
you might get loads of them. You won't not be able to open the door on Monday morning.
Oh, chance to be fine. I'd take it from even the blokes in the old football team. I'm not fussy, Scott, you know what I mean? The choosers. But anyway, as is customary on my vlogs, I usually get my guests to say hello to my mum, whose name's Anne, to send her a quick message. So would you be kind enough to send a quick hello out to my mother there, Scott?
Of course I will. Hello, Anne. How you doing? I hope you're all well. Paul's great lad. Absolute credit to you. Very good friend. Yeah, and we're going to catch up. We've not spoken for a long time, but we'll be catching up. We're going to go out for a drink and have a chat, a proper chat.
Absolutely, brother. I'll tell you what, Scott. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I've written down your tips from the board behind you. So I've got your next play sorted out. Anyway.
You got the next play. That's it.
Next play sorted out. But anyway, sign off for now, brother. Lovely speaking to you, Scott.
And you, Paul. Take care.
Cheers, pal.
A punt on the following drive is punished as that man Staten returns the kick, bringing his touchdown tally on the day to 4. For the game, Stainton has thrown a touchdown pass, rushed for 2, caught 1 and returned a punt for the last to take the score to 33-14. The final action of the game was another close call for the Caesars. Sharp escaped the pass rush and offloaded to a wide open Messom, who went in for the final score. On this play, Stainton sets his receivers before taking off with the ball down the sideline for the opening score of the game, running over defenders on the way, and kindly showing us why this show is called the Big C.
My name is Paul Warden.
My name is Adam Morley.
Stephen Brittle.
68, my number is.
My number is 55.
75.
My number is 54.
My number is 67.
My number is 71.
Number 51.
Position's offensive right tackle.
I play left tackle.
Centre.
I play offensive right guard.
I'm offensive line, right guard or right tackle.
Offensive lineman.
Left guard, offensive line.
Best thing about playing an offensive line is you get 8 defensive linemen.
Knocking people over.
I think helping the team win, letting people score.
The worst thing is you don't get much glamour. You tend to go unnoticed a bit, which is bad, but I'm not really after the glamour, so I don't mind it too much.
The worst thing is when you let the quarterback get sacked.
If you cock up, you get a lot of hassle.
The worst thing is probably getting asked about a bit more than the others, because it gets a bit tiring on hot days.
The worst thing is that we're the unsung heroes of the offence. We're not considered superstars, so you seldom get any fame playing offensive line.
The worst thing is getting knocked over.
The worst thing is losing.
What's it like playing next to Steve Brittle?
Steve Brittle, oh, he's a star man, he is.
Socks are a lucky thing. I just wore them every time. Sometimes we lose, so I'm thinking about changing it, so I don't know.